Hello everyone, welcome to GametechUK and this video, which is the unboxing and setup and demonstration of the Thrustmaster T150 Pro. I get a lot of questions in both the live streams and comments on videos asking what is the best affordable steering wheel. On a personal level, I use the Thrustmaster TGT, but this is primarily aimed at Gran Turismo and quite an expensive wheel, so this won't suit everyone. So Thrustmaster sent me a T150 Pro to showcase on the channel for games like Bus Simulator and Truck Driver. So I'm going to have a look in detail at the steering wheel, then take it over to the rig and set it up. So let's have a look and see what we get inside the box. First off, you've got the main steering wheel unit. This doesn't need an extra power supply, it's all built into the unit, which is good. The rim itself can feel quite plasticky, but you have got these blue perforated grippy edges that you're going to be using most of the time whilst driving, so it's totally fine. Works on the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 4 and the PC as well. All the buttons feel high quality, everything is as it should be. The T150 Pro comes with this fantastic pedal set, exactly the same as the TGT. You can also buy the 150 with a 2 pedal set. Comes with everything you need, like the clamp, the brake mod, and of course the instructions. So the first thing I want to show you is the control scheme for the T150. Now it's all bolted to the rig and ready for use. So the first time you connect your T150, or indeed any steering wheel within Bus Simulator, it will come up asking if you'd like to manually assign your buttons, which you want to do, and it will present you with this screen. So some of these will be already filled in. For example, we've got the throttle, and you can see just above me, you've got a throttle scale, we've got the brake, and we've got the steering wheel. The first change I've made is to the brake exponent. Now you will notice, especially on controller as well, that the brakes are quite abrupt, especially at the very end of braking. They come in quite smooth and then you've got to stop. Well, turning that down to 0.85 does help with that a little bit. First one will be Cockpit Zone. I've put this on the up D-pad. It's nice and handy and it's very intuitive just to zoom in, and it's exactly the same as the controller. The action cam, if you do watch my streams, you will know I like to use, as I pull into the bus stop, for whatever reason, I like to use the action cam to go to the third person perspective and watch everyone get in and out the bus, watch the doors open and close, watch the ramp come down. I think it looks cool, and I've set that to R2. Now Bus Sim is quite unique in the fact that it spreads your control scheme over 2 devices if you're using a steering wheel. You can't play the whole game on the steering wheel, it has to be with the steering wheel and the controller. You can, however, play the whole game with the controller, but if you're playing wheel, you need to do both, and that means that some buttons double up for what they do on the controller as well as the steering wheel. So you do have to unbind a couple of things to make this scheme work correctly. For example, I like to use the left and right on the D-pad on the steering wheel to look left and right. I'll show you that in a second. But what you will notice is that the right on the D-pad for the controller is to go into the cashier mode. Well, also it fills it in for you. It fills some of this stuff in for you. And right on the D-pad is the cashier mode. So what I was finding is that as I was looking right, it was also trying to go into the cashier mode as well. So what we need to do is we need to unbind that. So you click X to take out the cashier mode, and just press X to unbind that. Now it doesn't mean that the cashier mode won't be accessible. It will mean that the cashier mode is on the controller, not the steering wheel. Similar to the action cam button, I like the first person toggle to go to first person or back to third person to be L2. It's nice and accessible on my left thumb, and it's easy to switch between the two. This is an important one in my book anyway, looking left and right on the D-pad. So looking left is left on the D-pad, looking right is right on the D-pad. If you set that, if you've watched the streams, you'll see as I go into a junction, very quick look left and it centers to the middle, which is fantastic. Very quick look right, center to the middle, and away you go. And just below that, which is a really handy one, which we haven't got a center camera if you're using just controller, but if you are using the steering wheel, you can assign a center button, a recenter button for the view, and that's handy if you're using the right analog to have a look around the bus, go up and look into the mirror. You don't have to worry about setting where the camera was. I've set mine to X, so I press X. It doesn't matter where I'm looking. If I press X, it will sit me straight in front of the steering wheel, ready to pull away. Now this one is a personal preference, but it's one that I like to do, and that's I set L3, which is the bottom right hand side of the steering wheel unit, the same on my other steering wheel as well. I'll press L3 to open up all doors. I don't mess about worrying about which door I'm going to open, the front, the back or the middle. I open all the doors for everyone to come in, and I do that on L3. Same with the ramp, just next to the L3 is R3, and that opens up the disability ramp. Press it again, pulls it back in. The horn I've set to circle. You do need the horn, quite handy because some people do park in the bus stop and you need to give them the horn for them to move out. This is another personal preference, but I drive all the buses in Bus Sim in automatic. That's just my preference. That means that I've got the gear paddles totally free to use for indicators. So that's what I've used for indicators. We've got the left paddle for left indicator and the right paddle for right indicator. There's also the parking brake as well, which I set to down on the D-pad. So we've got another option to unbind that the game has filled in for me, and that's the ignition. I like to use the controller for the ignition. I just press that to rotate through the 3 ignition phases. On the game has already filled it into L2. Well, I'm using L2 to do the first person and the third person. So currently, every time I press L2, the ignition tries to switch off, and we don't want that to happen, so we're going to unbind that by pressing X and pressing X again. One cool little feature of Bus Sim is the fact that your drivers that you've employed on the route, as they pass you, they give you a cheeky little flash. It's polite to flash back, so I've set that to square. I've also set triangle to rotate through the different light cycles, so side lights and main lights. Next one on the list is pressing the options button to open up the options. It saves you picking up the controller each time, and also if you did see a recent video of mine, which I will link above, there is a way to spot fare dodgers really easy, and that is part of that, the options button. So it's really easy just to get with your right thumb. So I've been playing Bus Sim on this steering wheel for coming up to 2 to 3 hours now, and it works really well. I like my control scheme. Yours might be slightly different, but I like this control scheme. Pressing L3 now and there to open up the door. We can press R2 to go to the view that I like when we're at the bus stop. Very easy to press the button down there, L3, to close the doors. I like watching them shut. We can press L2 to go to first person or third person, and of course we can use the analog sticks to move around as well, and this will give you an idea of the reset button as well. If I press L2, it puts me in the driver's seat, but I'm still sitting in that angle, as you can see. Well, with a quick press of the X, it puts it straight back to the middle. It's really easy to bib, it's really easy to flash. I can cycle through the lights by pressing triangle. You can see the light switch on the dashboard. I'm very easily just switching through the lights, so that saves zooming in on the dashboard. And yeah, it's really good. The force feedback is fine. I've turned the force feedback down to 80 actually, because it was really vibrating quite a lot. It's a very powerful unit, but in terms of a steering wheel, it's comfortable. Yeah, it's really good. I like it, and I could easily play Bus Sim with this for absolutely hours. So if you are on console and you like your driving sims, this steering wheel is going to be perfect for other things other than Bus Simulator. Project Cars 2, for example, Wreckfest, the upcoming Grid, GT Sport, and of course Truck Driver. Now currently in Truck Driver you can't reassign a new control scheme, so there's nothing to show you there, but in terms of feeling of the truck, it feels heavy, the force feedback is totally fine, and it works really well with Truck Driver. So there you go everyone, hopefully you enjoyed this video, hopefully you found it of use if you are thinking of either picking up a steering wheel or if that control scheme for Bus Simulator helped you out. If it did, please let me know in the comment section below. If you've got any other ideas or any opinions on the steering wheel or the control scheme, please let me know in the comment section below. I answer all my comments. That is it everyone, have a lovely day and I will see you in the next one.